All right, here we are, episode 1 of the brand new soccer show we have that doesn't have a title yet. Christian Pagan, Beckett Wiswell. I want to thank you for tuning in and welcome to our first episode of our new show that we have without a title. Now, got to ask and say, what exactly is this show? Well, we're going to be looking at the Serie A title race because that is the closest one in Europe. We'll talk a little bit of Champions League and any other interesting soccer topics that strike our minds. So it's not going to be exactly, just game breakdown and stuff. We're gonna be more unique, try and stand out a little bit more. But first and foremost, like we said, we're going to be doing Serie A on the title race. So we do not really watch Serie A that much. Okay, to be real, we don't really watch soccer that much at all. But we want to challenge ourselves and do something a little different. So first and foremost, looking at the Serie A title race, you have Inter on top, right? They're only up by a point. Napoli right behind them in second, 57 points. Atalanta third with 55. This is the tightest title race in Europe at the moment. Do you think Inter will hold on and win Serie A?
Well, from my, unknowledgeable perspective, I would say yes, simply because I think the big thing here is that their goal scoring ability seems to be a lot higher than everyone else besides Atalanta, right? Like they're only a point above Napoli, but with 17 more goals, that's a pretty drastic difference. So, and I do think in general they're the more talented team going forward.
But now when you look at Inter, you see their last 5, they look to be 2-1-2. Not to mention they have Champions League to deal with as well. I don't think Atalanta, I don't think they're in Europe. No, they got knocked out of the playoff, didn't they? They lost in the knockout playoff, I believe. So they don't have the deal with the Champions League. So that's less competition, less games they have to worry about versus a good team like Inter. But that goal differential plus 35 for Inter, that is pretty remarkable. You see Atalanta right behind him with 33.
Yeah, that's kind of separating yourself, right? The points may end up similar, but that goal differential kind of shows a separation. I will say these next couple weeks are really what's going to be the big thing because Atalanta has to go to Juventus next week, and then they follow that up by hosting Inter. So those are the two big games. If they can get 2 wins out of that, the rest of their schedule is pretty clear. It's not too. They got a lot of bottom table teams left, so that. We could be that game next weekend could really be the deciding factor.
And looking at Inter as well, you talked about scheduling. I want to look at Inter's schedule real quick because their draw they got in the Champions League, it might be one of the easier ones. I mean, playing Feyenoord, they won 2-0 in the first leg. Not really a problem. It shouldn't be a problem for Inter, but they're going to go Feyenoord at home and then on the road to play Atalanta on March 16th. That will be a good game to watch. That'll definitely be indicative of potentially who might be on top of this title race. Who knows?
And I mean, Inter doesn't have too hard of a path in general on their side of the bracket in Champions League. Right after this, you're looking at Bayern, who is a good team, but it's not. You don't have a superpower, right? You're not on the other side of the bracket where we have Liverpool, Arsenal, and Real Madrid all on over there. So. It's interesting. I guess for them, the big thing is to try and get some rest in that midweek game. Try and go up early so you can get your players some rest going into Sunday.
But another thing you got to look at is the Coppa Italia. Because Inter, they're still in that. They got a match against AC Milan on April 2nd. So it looks like they'll get a 2-week break before that game. So from March 16th to March 30th, they will have off. They'll have a game, like I said, against Atalanta on the 16th. And then Udinese, I think I said that right, on the 30th of March. So they'll get some time off. But this is really the time of the year where the schedule really wraps up because you got league play coming in. The Champions League is coming to a close. Your domestic cup is coming to a close, which is why I'm always like, if you lose your domestic cup, for example, like say you're Arsenal, like you're out of the Carabao Cup. I believe you're out of the FA Cup. So you kind of I feel like that's a plus because now you just focus on league play, which in this case, it's kind of hard, but you still have that chance in the Champions League.
I think that's the big thing. It really is. It's almost to help. Like obviously you want to win, but when you're playing one less game than the teams you're going against a week, it can be a nice advantage for you moving forward. So that is something to note. But I do think it's there's a little bit bigger of a gap, right, in other leagues that you see in the Prem. Whereas, so those week-to-week games, there might be easier wins to pick up, like with resting people, like and stuff like that. So, but of course, that is 2 games against AC Milan, which is still a good team, whether they've shown it this year or not. That is still a talented team. And then if you add a final into that, it could be interesting.
But you talked about AC Milan. I want to go back a little bit because I wrote about them in my Champions League prediction, which I think I went like 3 of 8 in the playoff. But that team in about, a couple of weeks ago was so inconsistent because they had the comeback against Inter in the Supercoppa Italia. I believe that's what it is. They were down 2-0. They came back and won 3-2, right? That was a cup which both teams played their stars. It wasn't like, oh, you were just gonna here's the second team. No, this was an actual cup final, and both teams were 100%. They had that monumental win, but then they lost to Zagreb. I think I said it right. If AC Milan would have won that game, they would have been the top 8. They would have been the top 8, but they bottled it. They lost on the road to the Swiss club Zagreb. And then they played in the knockout playoff, and they lost to Feyenoord, I believe, 2-1, I think. It just shows this team is so inconsistent. And you see them in the standings, they're in the bottom half of the table, which I feel like if whenever they play against Inter, they get like the superpowers. It's like Tottenham versus City. Like, oh, all of a sudden, this team right here, Yo, Kowski, nah, get him back in. Get him in. Get him in. Get him in. Bring him in. Bring him in. Get him in. Get him in. Get him in. Get him in. We have special guest Andrew Kowski. So now we're going to be talking about the Serie A title race. Do you watch Serie A at all, Andrew?
Not at all, to be honest with you. I did watch the Tottenham game, though. Let's talk about that.
I'm not sure we want to talk about that.
Hey, man, you played just as bad. Don't worry about it, gang.
Don't worry about it, gang. Okay. What do you want to talk about, Tottenham? 1-0 loss, own goal in the 16th minute to AZ Alkmaar.
True that. I would like to say that Tottenham shit.
You're not wrong.
Deserve relegation, to be honest, after today's game. Probably wouldn't even make it up to the Prem next season, if I'm being 100%. They've got nothing on offense besides Son, and he's, to be honest with you, inconsistent as shit.
It's fair to say. That's fair to say.
Absolutely shit on defense. Bottom probably 5 goalie in the league right now. So nothing much else to say besides Tottenham shit.
Are you talking about Tottenham or United?
Tottenham. United is also
Come on,
shit.
Tottenham.
Kind of like blended together.
United is also shit, but like we're shit in a different way.
Hey, man, Tottenham beat United not long ago, a couple weeks ago. Just saying, Tottenham beat United a couple weeks ago.
Very true, but we both deserve relegation. I mean,
that would be an insane thing. Man U and Tottenham getting relegated, that would be pretty insane.
That wouldn't be pretty.
Well, you know what I mean. That would be monumental.
It would, yeah. That'd be the first time something like that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Since the history of the Prem, obviously. But
I think it was a couple years ago.
You guys are talking about what? You were talking about Serie A?
Serie A, yes. We picked the league with the best title race at the moment, and it's Serie A.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, I guess I would also kind of say Serie A is up there, but I could put
La Liga is good.
La Liga is looking pretty good.
Well, that is another good one too. That is.
I think I'm going Atletico wins it this year.
Atletico, really?
I think they can. I think if it's any of this is the year.
They haven't got anything else to worry about now.
That's what I'm saying. They have nothing else.
All they have is Champions League, right?
Not after next week.
Not after next week. That gets spitting right now.
They're gonna lose.
That's right. They play. That's right. It's an almond. Ooh, I don't know, man.
Madrid won't lose in Champions League this early.
We all thought City,
Being
they were
honest,
going to be
watch out
good
for
this year.
Bayern in Champions League.
Beckett just
Bayern
said the
might
opposite
win
thing. Bayern
You're
might win it.
crazy. You're
Bayern might win it.
crazy.
Whoa.
Bayern could win it, dude.
Listen.
Their side of the bracket is so easy.
I know. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, you're probably going to have a Bayern-Inter matchup and maybe a little Barcelona. Probably Bayern-Barcelona in the quarterfinal, the winner
That's what I'm
advancing.
thinking. And I think Bayern could do it. I think if anyone can beat Barca, it's Bayern or Inter. But I don't think Inter has I think Bayern has a better chance. The way they played against Leverkusen was good as shit.
That I saw Wirtz and Frimpong almost crash out basically on the bench. Pretty funny video. That was a funny video. Looking all right, if Madrid gets to play Liverpool again, do you think they could beat them?
Madrid and Liverpool.
Because in group play, Liverpool got the best of Madrid. But that was
Yeah.
at Anfield, though. That was at Anfield. And Mbappe was really struggling, too.
Yeah, but I don't know. Madrid, my problem with them is they do have the stars. Like, the whole roster is insane.
Star-studded.
But, like, they don't – I just feel like whenever I watch a game, they don't play well together. Like, they'll take it up the field fine, but the moment they're up there, there is no passing at all.
It's all iso ball, We got 4, world-class players in Rodrigo, Vinny, Bellingham, Mbappe. It's hard to mesh them together because they all want to be the star of the team,
Yeah.
Which is kind of tough. It's all about chemistry. But in my opinion, if Madrid can go through, you're going to have a rematch of last year's semifinal between Madrid and Bayern.
Yeah.
Or an El Clasico final.
No, yeah. Either
that would go hard.
I do think El Clasico final would obviously be the best thing, but I don't know that too. Barca's been beaten on Madrid, but Champions League Madrid is not something to joke with.
Madrid, right?
Maybe a little bit.
Hey, man, I'm just saying that would be a hell of a matchup. An El Clasico Champions League final.
Exactly.
Anything else you have, Kowski?
No, nothing. I'm surprised I even made it.
Hey, man. Well, we thank you.
Hey, I'll take that. Take that with pride.
Hell yeah, man. We thank you for coming on. Thank you.
Anytime.
Of course. Here comes Beckett.
He's going to have his little own camera up here soon. Just wait.
Get that Kowski cam going.
Yeah, you need a 4-way?
Yes. Let's get Mike in here. All right. Anything you want to add on the Champions League talk? The El Clasico final would be kind of cool, but
I think that would. I feel like that must have been everyone's first thought when the bracket got released, right? You look at the bracket, you're like, ooh, they're setting it up because Barca's got a pretty easy side, right? Comparatively. And, obviously nothing is easy in the Champions League, right? These are, at the end of the day, the best teams in the world. It's not easy, but that's a very favorable side comparatively. And then Madrid on the other side, you're just looking at like, it's Madrid. There's no reason for you to ever doubt that they can and will win games, especially on the biggest stage. And in terms of if they can beat Liverpool, we saw Liverpool have 2 shots yesterday. I don't think it's insane to say.
Liverpool also went against PSG, which is one of the hottest teams in Europe. If you take away yesterday, they were on an unbeaten streak since October. Luis Enrique was cooking, okay? Up until that point. Then the train kind of just died, but that's another thing. That was pretty amazing to watch. You see a team completely dominate its opponent. Possession, you shut down their star player, you outshoot them 27-2, and yet you still lose 1-0. That is pretty remarkable to do.
That's heartbreaking, right? Because that's your home game. Even if you get out of there with a draw, you wouldn't be happy, right? You'd be looking at yourself like when you see those stats, you're like, oh, we won like 2-0, 3-0, right? Like that's an absolute domination. So to get out of there, not only not even winning the game, but to lose it, you're just going to walk into Anfield with kind of like you got nothing going for you.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Obviously, if they, if they're up 2-3 nothing, it's a completely different story. But that is something I want to like dive a little bit deeper into, just to talk about the significance of imagine PSG won yesterday 3-0, 2-0. Just imagine that Liverpool going to Anfield, this matchup. Liverpool at home down 2-0 in the quarterfinal when they've been playing like one of the best teams in Europe, if not the best team in Europe. And for them to go to Paris, get exposed, and go down 2-3 nothing on aggregate in this quarterfinal of the Champions League, could you imagine that?
I feel like we were almost robbed. Like that would be one
We
of the most
were
hated games. Like to get to see
not,
can they come back?
not even that. I mean, everybody would tune in. That is like,
Yeah.
This Champions League at the moment, right? I wouldn't say it's missing that like main story that like, whoa, but that would have been like hold on now. What is happening here? We gotta tune in and look at this.
Yeah.
There's no way Liverpool can come back down 3-0 again, right? There's no way. But it's never that way. You take out Salah, you put in Harvey Elliott, and the first touch he has, it's a goal in the 89th minute. I mean, I think that's a definition of demoralizing.
Yeah. I mean, that's you can't, you can never lose a game in the first leg, but you really feel like you lost, like that you lost. That was your Champions League's hopes gone in front of your eyes.
Right there. That was your chance. And you got to give credit to Alisson Becker because he put up a stellar performance playing like prime Champions League Courtois. I mean, nothing was getting by him. Even though PSG, they're getting the opportunities, getting the shots. Even though some of the shots were kind of outside the box, I was like, that's kind of a forced shot. I mean, still, whenever there were shots on goal, Becker was there making great saves. He played outstanding.
Yeah, but on the flip side, what would the story be if PSG is able to walk in there and come out with a 2-0 victory next week?
See, that's the thing, though. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's realistic, but like, what if they did?
That would be pretty insane. But the play like that, how they played yesterday, back-to-back games, in the Champions League, rather.
Yeah.
Play like that against one of the best teams again, that's kind of difficult. That would be a very tough ask for a team to do. That would be very tough.
But it's not, it's hard for you to ask for Liverpool to go in and get 3-0 if they were down, And realistically, right, Liverpool's going to score in the 10th minute, and this is all just over, right, on that point. Yeah. But it is interesting to think, they did dominate them at a level that we haven't seen someone, dominate Liverpool to. So it is interesting. It's not, we shouldn't count them out, but yeah.
I agree. We shouldn't count them out, but we've seen this happen a lot. That Anfield magic, just something's in the air there, right? I will say, I think last year you can kind of put an asterisk on that because in the Europa League, Atalanta came to Anfield and won 3-0. It was like, whoa. I put an asterisk by it because just before that, I think Klopp said, like, hey, this is my last season. I'm done. And I'm not sure if this ever happened to you when you played sports, but when your coach comes to you and the team and says, hey, this is my last year, I'm done after this, especially late in the season, it plays so many mind games on you. It's like, here's another layer of stuff I got to worry about. Like, now I want to play for my coach. I want to win it for him. And that's just the entire mindset. And then you just, I can't really describe, but you lose focus on the actual game because you're so just immersely thought in the, hey, I want to play for my coach. And I think that's what happened for Liverpool last year in the Europa because Atalanta came in 3-0. They ended up winning the Europa League too. So that could be another case.
Yeah, no disrespect to Atalanta. That's a big time win.
But prior to that, the Liverpool Anfield magic, I mean, we can kind of expect
we can only assume what we're going to watch next week. But
yeah, I said it's got the most obvious 4-0 on it. The most obvious 4-0 Liverpool win.
Salah's
That's
gonna have
just
a hat trick before halftime, and you're just like,
no. It'll be a Salah goal early on, right? We'll put a Gakpo goal in there. It'll be 2-0 at half. PSG misses an opportunity. Then Salah adds 2 more like the 60th and 80th minute.
mm,
That's just how it goes.
yeah,
But
he's gonna make up for all the cardio he did yesterday.
that too. That but a segment we're gonna do, we have to make it interesting. So what we're gonna do, since we really don't watch European soccer like that, like we'll watch it casually, we're not really immersed in the European soccer. So to make it interesting, we are going to spin a wheel of the teams in the top 5 leagues in Europe, right? And we are going to follow this specific team for the duration of this series, however long we do it, probably until, I don't know, the end of the season, probably end of May. But we're going to follow this team as a segment. We're not going to do the top teams. We're not going to do the bottom teams. It's just mid teams from the top 5 divisions in Europe. So I'm going to share the screen. We can all see right here. These are all the teams. There are 100 entries into here. 100. So for the duration of this series, we're going to have a segment every show. We're going to follow this specific team we are about to draw here from the spin wheel of death.
I can already see some terrifying teams on there.
There are some terrifying teams on here, but the thing I'm worried about, I can't pronounce like half of these teams. It's going to be very, very tough. I can't pronounce half of these teams. Okay. I hope these extra circles aren't here.
What league are you rooting for?
Honestly, Prem, man.
Yeah.
If anything, that's the one I watch the most. It's the Prem.
Yeah.
La Liga would be cool. I just don't want the French or the Italian, to be honest.
I don't want get no French in Germany for me. Those are the.
I see. Germany wouldn't be bad in my opinion. But you ready?
No Farmers Leagues over here. Yeah.
No Farmers League. All right. Look at a couple of times. Oh, we're getting a protein. Yes, because it's full.
I love that. Okay.
That's actually a great pick.
I was almost a Fulham fan. That's crazy.
That is a great pick. I'm actually really excited about this. This is a great pick. So for the segment, we're gonna every show and the rest of the series, we're gonna have a segment. It's gonna be very short, right? We're gonna cover Fulham. Okay. I'm absolutely happy with this choice right here. We get Fulham.
And Fulham coming off a big win on the weekend.
Yes.
Moving on in the FA Cup, taking down United,
Hey.
Good stuff.
Fulham, that's the team we get. Let's take a look at the English Premier League table real quick, see where they're located. The middle of the pack team. 9th, okay. 42 points. 11 wins, 9 draws.
For a league, though. In competition to, make Europe next year.
That is true.
It won't be easy, but it's there.
It's still a possibility. Like you mentioned, the big win in the FA Cup over United in penalties.
Oh, that was a good game.
So
well, actually, I think that was the worst game I've ever. I was watching that on Sunday, and the announcers just kept saying it was the worst game they've ever seen. They just kept saying how bad everyone on the field was playing. It was really funny.
Let's see. 20 shots for Man U compared to Fulham's 12. A combined 14 shots on target for both teams. 3 yellow cards given out, 3 offsides, 13 corners. These stats really are indicative of probably what happened in the game. Probably have to watch the highlights to see what really happened. Looks like we had a mid-off here.
Yeah.
In Old Trafford. Fulham. I like this. I like this pick.
This is an improvement for you.
This is an improvement for me. This is a
fan right now. So
yes, this is a big improvement for me. I might have to sign the permanent transfer over to Fulham. I might have to.
Depends on how the season ends,
Fabrizio is saying like, "Hey man, Fulham, they're gonna sign Christian Magan as a fan. Here we go." Perfect.
I almost picked Fulham 2 years ago because I think it was Willie and I watched him score against Chelsea because Chelsea, and I thought it was hilarious. So I was like, okay, maybe I should root for them.
They're not a bad team. They're not a bad team. And for me, I picked Tottenham 6 years ago when they were in the Champions League final against Liverpool. This was before I even like watched soccer, English soccer to be specifically. I didn't watch it like that. I was like, who's this Tottenham team? Because I remember a little bit of their 3-1 loss Liverpool had to Madrid in last year's final. And I was like, I'll go with Tottenham. You know, let's root for this team. And there's a snap I posted like Tottenham's winning 4-1. Don't at me. And Salah gets a poundy in the first like 60 seconds. It's like, all right, cool. So we're definitely evaluating our options and maybe a potential transfer to Fulham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it depends on the season ends. You know,
depends how it goes. But overall, I'm very happy with this pick.
Yeah. 11 games, and they're still in the FA Cup, you know, so.
Hey, man, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Not to mention, they host Tottenham in 10 days.
Oh.
League play. That might be a hate watch right there, you know.
Yeah.
Let's go Fulham, baby. Let's go Fulham.
Oh, wow. This, in April, we play Arsenal, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Chelsea.
We might be cooked in that stretch. I'm not going to lie. Wow, that is a very impressive stretch. Well, think about it, too. There's probably going to be another if we can beat Crystal Palace in the FA quarters, it's probably going to be another game in between there. It depends how the schedule goes.
Yeah.
Look it up.
There's a game left against Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, City, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Villa, Brentford. Basically everyone in the top 11. No Newcastle.
Okay, so the semifinal will be the 26th of April, which is, wow. All right, imagine this stretch, right? Arsenal, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Chelsea, and then you play an FA Cup semifinal on the 26th of April. Right now, they have Southampton scheduled, but if they win against Crystal Palace on the 29th of March, they will play in the FA semi on the 26th. So that league game gets rescheduled, it gets booted out. Now, I'm trying to see, hypothetically.
Southampton with Liverpool.
Wait, they would play. Wait. Who would they play if they win? I'm trying to figure that out.
FA Cup does draws, doesn't it?
Oh, that's right. See, that's the thing, man. They're like, man. Listen, I'm a believer in the FA Cup. Please get rid of the Carabao Cup. Please, just get rid of it.
I agree. Unless Newcastle wins on Sunday, then don't get rid of it.
Dog. Don't you guys got don't tell me. You guys got Liverpool, right?
Yeah. We're getting shit on.
That's
Isak game winner. This is Isak's tryout, actually.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I think it's his tryout. If he scores, then he's just getting transferred next season.
He's getting the bag.
Yeah.
Tottenham gives him like 70 million.
Realistically, if we win, it's Brighton or Forest, and then or City or Villa. So those are actually a lot of teams already out.
Yeah, there were a lot of shockers. Liverpool lost to Plymouth, I believe, back in like the start of February, I think. If I'm correct, there were a lot of shockers. It's like, whoa. We thought the City thing was bad.
Brighton beat Chelsea, so that's why they're gone.
I think this is going to be one of the most interesting FA Cups that we've had in a while.
It's definitely interesting teams.
That's the point, because I think we're so used to like a powerhouse being there, and there's still City,
but it's not the same city.
Right? Yeah, this is a completely different city. It's like you can get a final. Imagine like Fulham versus Bournemouth. That would be electric. Please sign me up for that, because that right there would feed families.
What about Forest?
I mean, Forest too. Any team but City.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, you're going to get a good matchup.
City's putting everything they have into this. They got nothing left.
They really have nothing left.
I mean, I guess they still got to qualify for Champions League. That's all they got left.
Yeah.
You got to secure that. You're good.
You got to secure that top 4.
Exactly.
What else would it be? Aston Villa versus Fulham. Aston Villa, that would be a decent.
Not even
one.
bad either. Yeah. I mean, they've been disappointing this year coming off last year, but
Hey, they're doing pretty well in the Champions League too.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I think they would play Liverpool next if they can beat Brugge.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. That's the perfect motto to end on. But that's episode 1 of our show that does not have a name yet. We'll think of a name. I thought of Stripes and Pints, and that goes perfect because Fulham has stripes, I believe.
Oh,
I believe they do. That's my choice, but we'll find a name for this show. Yeah, and any ideas? Anything you want to end on?
no, just give us some good ideas in the comments, and we'll do our review, and we'll have a name by next week.
We'll definitely have a name by next week. But Christian McGowan, Beckett Wiswell, episode 1 of the show we have that doesn't have a name. If you remember, we're doing Serie A title race talk, and we are going to have a segment on Fulham, the new team we're following. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.